5 stories from people who lived in 5 different locations, with one terrifying claim. They were taken aboard alien spacecraft. Some became world famous. Others vanished from public view. Tonight, we'll revisit their incredible stories, examine what allegedly happened during their encounters, and answer one question that few videos ever ask. Where are they now? For your entertainment, we're revisiting 5 of the most intriguing alien abduction cases previously featured on Space, the final frontier above and beyond. In this special presentation, we'll provide a brief overview of each encounter, explore what allegedly happened during the abduction, examine the aftermath for those involved, and discover where these individuals are today. The cases featured in this video include the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, the Travis Walton abduction, the David Stevens abduction, the Mona Stafford abduction, the Pier Fortunato Zanfretta abduction. Whether you're a longtime UFO enthusiast or just beginning to explore the mystery of alleged extraterrestrial encounters, these 5 extraordinary cases remain among the most fascinating and controversial stories ever reported. Number 1. The Betty and Barney Hill abduction. The Betty and Barney Hill abduction is the story of a late-night encounter that happened in September 1961, when the couple claimed a UFO stopped their car on a lonely New Hampshire highway, and its occupants took them aboard. Here's a brief, clear description of the core event. Driving home from a vacation in Canada, the Hills noticed a bright light following their car. As it descended, Barney said he saw a disc-shaped craft with humanoid figures inside watching them. They reported that the craft suddenly dropped into the road ahead of them, forcing Barney to stop. Both later described hearing a series of buzzing or beeping sounds, after which they felt strangely disoriented. The aftermath. Under hypnosis months later, both described being escorted by small, grayish beings into the craft. Inside, they said they underwent medical examinations. Betty said a leader communicated with her in English. Barney described a procedure involving his abdomen and groin. Both said the beings took samples of their skin and hair. The beings then returned them to their car, and the Hills drove away confused, noticing 2 hours of missing time. Back home, they found odd physical clues: Betty's torn dress, Barney's scuffed shoes, malfunctioning watches, and both experienced nightmares and anxiety. These details became central to the case's fame. After their alleged 1961 alien abduction, Betty and Barney Hill spent the rest of their lives dealing with psychological fallout, public attention, and the long-term cultural impact of their story. Their experience became the first widely known alien abduction narrative in the United States, shaping UFO culture for decades. Both Hills struggled with persistent anxiety, nightmares, and physical symptoms in the months following the incident. They were disturbed by the 2 hours of missing time during their drive and by odd details, ripped clothing, scuffed shoes, malfunctioning watches, that they couldn't explain. Betty began having vivid dreams about humanoid beings performing medical examinations. Barney developed severe stress and sleep issues. Their emotional distress eventually led them to seek professional help. Under the care of psychiatrist Dr. Benjamin Simon, the Hills underwent hypnosis therapy to recover memories of the missing time. During these sessions, both described being taken aboard a craft by gray-skinned beings with large eyes, subjected to medical examinations, and then released. Dr. Simon believed the couple had experienced a shared traumatic hallucination, but the Hills accepted the hypnosis-recovered memories as genuine. Their story became public in 1965 through a Boston Traveler article series, then gained national attention with the 1966 book The Interrupted Journey and the 1975 NBC film The UFO Incident. The Hills' descriptions of the beings, especially Betty's sketches, helped define the modern image of the gray alien. Their case also influenced Project Blue Book, the U.S. Air Force's UFO investigation program, popular science fiction depictions of alien abductions, public fascination with extraterrestrial encounters. Their lives after the abduction. Despite the attention, the Hills continued their work as civil rights activists in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Barney served in the NAACP and on a local civil rights commission. Betty remained active in social work and community advocacy. Betty drew a star map she claimed came from one of the beings. Decades later, amateur astronomer Marjorie Fish argued it resembled the Zeta Reticuli star system. Where are they now? But the incident remained a defining part of their lives. Barney Hill died in 1969 at age 46, reportedly from a cerebral hemorrhage. Betty Hill lived until 2004, continuing to speak publicly about UFOs and maintaining her belief in the abduction. Betty preserved extensive notes, tapes, and memorabilia, which are now archived at the University of New Hampshire. In 2011, New Hampshire installed a historical marker at the site where the Hills said the UFO first approached their car, an acknowledgement of the incident's cultural significance. Their story remains one of the most studied, debated, and influential UFO cases in American history. Number 2, the Travis Walton abduction. On November 5, 1975, logger Travis Walton and his co-workers saw a bright hovering craft in the Apache Sitgraves National Forest in Arizona. Walton approached the object, was struck by a beam of light, and disappeared. His crew fled in panic. Walton later reported waking inside a rounded metallic room where small humanoid beings examined him before taller human-like figures placed a mask over his face. He reappeared 5 days later, disoriented and dehydrated, claiming he had been aboard a UFO. The aftermath. The Travis Walton abduction was one of a very few abduction cases involving 6 eyewitnesses to his abduction. Walton's disappearance triggered one of the largest manhunts in Arizona history. His co-workers were investigated for murder until Walton returned. All 6 crew members passed polygraph tests supporting their account of seeing the craft. Walton's story became one of the most famous and controversial abduction cases ever recorded, inspiring the 1993 film Fire in the Sky. Skeptics questioned the event, but Walton maintained his story for decades, becoming a prominent figure in UFO conferences and media. Where is Travis Walton now? Walton has lived in Arizona for most of his life, staying close to the region where the 1975 incident occurred. He remains a recognizable figure in UFO circles and occasionally appears at conferences, interviews, and documentaries. Walton continues to speak publicly about his experience, often at UFO conventions, paranormal conferences, podcasts and documentary interviews, media events tied to Fire in the Sky. He also wrote a book, Fire in the Sky, The Walton Experience, and has spent years defending the authenticity of his story against skeptics. Walton is considered one of the most persistent and visible witnesses in UFO history. Whether people believe him or not, he's remained consistent in his account for over 40 years and is often invited to discuss alien abduction phenomena, his 5-day disappearance, the credibility of eyewitness testimony, the cultural impact of his case. Number 3, the David Stevens abduction. On October 27, 1976, David Stevens, a young man from Oxford, Maine, claimed he and his friend Glenn Gray were abducted by extraterrestrials after encountering a large, glowing craft on a rural road. Stevens reported that the craft descended close to their vehicle, after which both men experienced missing time and intense disorientation. Under hypnosis conducted by UFO researchers Dr. Herbert Hopkins and Dr. Berthold Schwartz, Stevens described being taken aboard the craft by small humanoid beings. He said he underwent medical procedures, was examined with strange instruments, and communicated telepathically with the entities. He also claimed a second encounter occurred later that same night. The case became notable because Stevens gave detailed, consistent descriptions under hypnosis. Investigators considered him sincere, though troubled. The case involved multiple hypnosis sessions and psychological evaluations. But unlike more famous abduction cases, Stevens did not pursue publicity, and the story faded from mainstream UFO literature. The aftermath. David Stevens, the man involved in the 1976 Oxford, Maine alien abduction case, largely disappeared from public life after the incident, and very little verified information exists about his later years or current whereabouts. The available sources focus almost entirely on the abduction itself, not on what happened afterward. However, after investigators completed their interviews and hypnosis sessions, Stevens withdrew from public attention. Unlike Travis Walton or Betty and Barney Hill, Stevens did not continue on the UFO lecture circuit, did not publish a book, and did not maintain a public presence in UFO research. No credible, verifiable sources document his later career, his personal life, whether he continued discussing the abduction, his current location, or status. This absence of information is consistent across all available search results. Where is he now? There is no reliable public record of David Stevens' current whereabouts. The search results contain no confirmed updates about his life after the late 1970s, and no obituary, interview, or public appearance tied to the same individual. Several unrelated people named David Stevens appear in search results: pilots, artists, doctors, rally drivers, but none are connected to the 1976 alien abduction case. Based on the lack of documentation, the most reasonable conclusion is that Stevens lived a private life and did not remain involved in UFO-related public activity. This is an inference drawn from the absence of any credible reporting. Number 4. The Mona Stafford Abduction. On the night of January 1st, 1976, 3 women, Mona Stafford, Louise Smith, and Elaine Thomas, were driving home from a birthday dinner in Liberty, Kentucky. As they traveled along Highway 78, they reported being chased by a large, glowing, disc-shaped craft that emitted a bluish light. According to their account, the craft descended close to their car, causing the vehicle to lose power. The women described a blinding light enveloping the car, followed by missing time and intense physical sensations. The aftermath. Later, under investigation by MUFON, Stafford reported memories of being taken aboard the craft and subjected to medical procedures by non-human beings. Their case became one of the most documented multi-witness abductions of the 1970s. In the months following the event, Stafford experienced severe anxiety, sleep disturbances, physical symptoms she associated with the encounter, difficulty returning to normal routines. She participated in multiple interviews and investigations, including hypnosis sessions conducted by MUFON researchers. Unlike some abductees, she did not pursue fame or a public career in UFO circles. She largely withdrew from media attention after the late 1970s. Where is she now? There is no verified public information about Mona Stafford's current whereabouts. She did not remain active in UFO conferences, did not publish a book, and did not maintain a public presence. The most reliable accounts indicate she chose a private life, avoiding publicity and declining later interview requests. No credible sources document her later career, her personal life, whether she continued discussing the abduction, her current location, or status. This silence is consistent with her desire to stay out of the spotlight. Number 5. The Zanfretta Abduction. On the night of December 6, 1978, Italian night watchman Pier Fortunato Zanfretta claimed he was abducted while on duty in the village of Torriglia near Genoa. Responding to a call about suspicious activity at a villa, Zanfretta reported encountering huge reptilian-like beings nearly 10 feet tall with glowing yellow eyes. He said he was struck by a bright light, paralyzed, and taken aboard a massive triangular craft. Under hypnosis, he later described medical examinations, telepathic communication, and being shown strange devices by the beings, whom he called the Dargos. The aftermath. The case became famous because Zanfretta was a trained security guard, not a UFO enthusiast. Multiple witnesses reported seeing lights and hearing unusual sounds that night. His employer and local police considered him sincere and visibly traumatized. He underwent several hypnosis sessions confirming consistent details. This incident was the first of multiple alleged abductions Zanfretta reported between 1978 and 1980. Where is he now? After the first incident, Zanfretta experienced severe anxiety and emotional distress, physical symptoms he associated with the encounter, difficulty continuing his security work, intense media attention across Italy. He later claimed additional encounters, each involving similar beings and craft. His story became one of Europe's most documented abduction cases, investigated by journalists, police, and UFO researchers. Pier Fortunato Zanfretta is still alive and living in Italy. He has remained publicly active, occasionally giving interviews and participating in documentaries about his experiences. He has also been involved in books and television programs covering the case. He is not a constant public figure, but he did not disappear from public life the way some abductees did. Instead, he maintained a modest presence and continued to affirm the truth of his experiences. Final thoughts. These people lived in different countries, spoke different languages, and many had never heard of one another. Yet many described missing time, bright lights, medical examinations, telepathic communication, and lingering psychological effects. Are these similarities evidence of a genuine phenomenon, or do they reveal common patterns in human memory and perception? The debate continues. Whether these similarities point to a genuine external phenomenon, shared psychological experiences, or something science has yet to explain, remains one of the greatest mysteries surrounding the alien abduction phenomenon. Over the decades, thousands of people around the world have claimed experiences similar to the ones you've just heard. While no scientific consensus has confirmed alien abductions, these reports continue to be investigated by researchers, psychologists, and UFO organizations. Whatever the explanation, they remain one of the most enduring mysteries in UFO history. After hearing these 5 stories, what do you think? Were these people describing genuine encounters with something beyond our understanding, or is there another explanation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. You've been watching Space, the Final Frontier Above and Beyond, where we explore the mysteries of our universe with an open mind and a healthy sense of curiosity. If you enjoyed this special look back at 5 of the most compelling alien abduction cases and discovering what happened to the experiencers after their extraordinary encounters, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next episode, where we'll uncover 5 more incredible alien abduction stories. Until next time, keep looking up, because the truth may be closer than we think.